All righty. All right. So let's see. Sorry about that. I think we had some connection issues.
Hmm.
Just making sure that you guys can see and hear us as well. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So let's pick up where we left off. What were we saying?
You got into the black community in
Right.
regards to
So the issue regarding our physical, how our physical and our mental connect, right? Our physical well-being is just as important as our mental well-being, and our mental well-being is important, just as important as our physical, right? So we have to take into consideration, we were talking about culturally in the Black community how we were disproportionately affected by obesity, right?
hmm
And then we have to think about, overall the idea regarding obesity and what we're doing in the Black community. And you were talking about so basically they're food deserts in our Black community. Like we're
yeah.
not, a lot of our a good amount of our neighborhoods are not as close to Wegmans or Whole Foods and things like that.
hmm
And then we talk about economics and things like that. But there are a lot of things that we can do to combat that, right? There are a lot of things that we can actually do. So even though things are not as, you know, in the area or in close proximity, we could still eat more fruits. We could still eat more vegetables, right? Because we have a starchy diet. We've got sweet potatoes, mac and cheese, greens, all these things that we eat, especially like after church and things like
Yeah.
that. Um, so we have to do less processed starches and more vegetables and more fruits and things like that. And it could be as easy as going to places like farmers markets, and we
Yeah.
don't have to go to Wegmans or Whole Foods. Those things are we can get them
They're
elsewhere.
expensive too.
Yeah,
So and they actually go to farmers markets and to the actual farmers and growers who grow the food and jack up the prices.
right.
But more importantly, in regards to physical health and what the effects on you mentally, you have a clearer mind when you start your day out with a nice workout. You get the blood going. You really start pushing through. It starts your day off.
Good morning,
Um,
Sister Patty. You can see and hear us, right? Just want to make sure.
yeah, yeah,
We had a little technical difficulties.
yeah. So you start. There are benefits to starting your day out with a good workout or just working out. Period.
Right.
And what it does to your system. And I just want to get right to it. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, um, they say that the physical health benefits, physical activity also affects mental health positively. Physically inactive individuals
Mhm.
have been reported to have higher rates of morbidity and healthcare expenditures. So basically, if you're obese, you tend to have high. You spend more money on the foods that doesn't work for your body. So according to investigations, physical activity is a positively associated with certain mental health traits.
Right.
The most significant effects of physical exercise have been on self-concept and body image. So um, your concept of your body image definitely affects how you feel about yourself.
Mhm.
And you want to be aware of what you're thinking about your body. You also want to be aware of what you're eating when it comes to your body,
Right.
because you are what you eat. If you eat things that are not good for you, what happens? Your body will react to it in a negative way.
Right. 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 And our gut health is so important. And the way we sometimes our impulsive decisions, um our way of thinking, our way of doing things, the way we communicate, can be directly linked to our gut health.
Mm-hmm.
What time we wake up, what time we go to bed, can be directly correlated with our gut health. What we put into our bodies, um, and then also on the vice versa side, what we put into our minds, right? What we are reading, what we are scrolling every day, and just our brain is taking in so much information that we don't even know. that can affect how we eat, right? So it goes hand in hand. Yes. Sister Bankole, good morning. Good morning. Yes, food affects our mood. I heard that.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So the impact of physical health on your mental health, and this is general studies, right? They say it enhances mood and self-esteem while decreasing stress tendencies, and a factor known as aggravate mental and physical diseases. Studies show that people who exercise regularly have a better frame of mind. So there's a link between mood enhancement and exercise in healthy individuals. That link really has not, as I say, has not been established, but I'm gonna say it has. When you feel better about your body physically, even though certain things, as far as money, finances, when you feel better physically, like you're actually healthy, you can mentally think through these things.
Absolutely.
You can think clearer. You can make better decisions up to about 2 hours. Your brain can really think about, okay, you prioritize what's important instead of just reacting to a certain situation. So when you are very healthy, you could definitely make better decisions. But when you're sickly and you got pain, you got to get medicine, you got to go back to the house, and sometimes it can be very stressful for your body, and it takes a toll on your body and mentally. You just don't feel like doing it, So once you get like that, you got to really retract and take a step back on your physical health and understand how it affects you mentally.
Absolutely. Our brains develop ways to keep us safe, right? Especially after experiencing, trauma. And when we think about PTSD and people that have experienced trauma or PTSD, a lot of it, a lot of the physical symptoms of PTSD are chronic fatigue, restlessness, depression, right? And that goes into our eating habits, right? And then also with that goes into hyperarousal or hypervigilance, paranoia, all those things. Oftentimes people are just misdiagnosed. If we think about our children in schools, which is another topic, right, that we're going to touch on. But when we think about our children in schools, ADHD, it really looks similar, right, to trauma symptoms. And if you think about the lunch that our schools give our children, or the breakfast that schools give our children, it doesn't resemble like a well-balanced, depending on the school. And I don't know every school, but I know the schools that I've been in. It doesn't resemble a well-balanced meal. It doesn't resemble how you want your children to perform on a high level. The food doesn't resemble that of the result of what you want, so I don't see as many fruits or vegetables, or fresh fruits and vegetables, or even like lean protein. It's a lot of processed stuff.
So I want to chime in on that. When the food pyramid that we all grew up with, that has been given to us as far as eating 3 times a day, and I wish I had to present that food pyramid. Certain things, like for an example, milk. It's been branded back in the day that milk does a body good, but does it really do a body good? And I always say, do you see humans going to cows to drink their milk? And we actually do, but do you see cows drink our milk?
Right.
Or the women's milk, the breast milk? You don't see that.
So basically, like the cow's milk is for the baby calf.
Yeah. And there's studies. I know there's studies on how milk affects the body. And in most, in the Black community, and I'm gonna just speak for myself. When I was younger, I used to love milk. And
cheese.
And what happens is, I'm like, my stomach used to get so upset. And as I got older, I understood, like every time I had some type of cereal with milk, I noticed I had to go to the restroom all the time, real bad. So I noticed, like this. I talked to my uncle. He said, "Yeah, you're lactose intolerant." I said, "Most Black folks are lactose intolerant."
But honestly, a lot of us, Black or white, are and alike, are lactose intolerant.
Milk does not do a body good, and for me, I'm gonna just speak for myself, because some people may still like milk, but I don't feel well after eating milk. And then when you don't feel well, you don't do well, and that takes out time. You have to go take care of yourself. It takes away from your production and what you're doing for the day for your children. You may miss out on a meeting. So there's some direct effects to not feeling well, to deciding to eat the wrong foods. And when you know the science of foods and how it affects your body, you'll be able to operate, on an
optimal level.
On an optimal level.
Absolutely, you become more energized. So let's get into, our bodies keep the score. So it's just some ways that we could stay obedient to God's word, but also staying obedient to God's word is staying obedient to optimal health. Because it's hard to say that. We have faith and we're going to stay obedient and we're going to, we love God when we're not really loving our temples, the very same vessels that God has given us to provide and do his gift on earth, right? So we have to really love our temples and put things in it that honor him, right? So your body keeps the score. So the first thing you might want to do, just to think about some things in order to make sure we have, start off with optimal health, or to start your journey in optimal health, is embrace hunger. Psalm 107:9 says, he satisfies the thirsty and he fills the hungry with good things. So we want to make sure that we are embracing our hunger, sometimes waiting to get hungry instead of filling ourselves up. Our bodies are designed to be healthy and to be fit and to thrive. And a lot of times we become gluttonous and overeating the wrong things, right? Proverbs 23:20-21 says, be not among drunkards or among gluttonous eaters of meat, right? Sometimes we're consuming more than what is allotted or allowed by our bodies, right? We're taking in more bread than what we should. We're taking in more crackers than we should. We're taking in more cookies than we should. I mean, I'm guilty of all this, but
in moderation,
we have to do things in moderation. But we have to understand how our bodies work when we eat sugar, even in moderation, right? We have to understand what our bodies are doing when we eat sugar,
unnatural sugar,
or what our bodies are doing when we eat certain carbs that are low quality, because white bread is low quality carbs, right? We've all had white bread, but the higher quality carbs are sweet potatoes and brown rice and those things, and we have to eat more grains and more of those vegetables and fruits. But yeah, gluttony is a huge problem, right? When you have discipline, I think that's what fasting is for, right? So fasting is for, implementing discipline in our lives, not just food wise, but on a mental level too. What we consume, social media, what we consume on the television, things like that. Because if you have obedience in one area, usually it's a domino effect, right? And then you start to have obedience in other areas, right? It's just a domino effect. You have obedience with your food. You tend to have obedience mentally. You tend to respond. You stop reacting to things, right? When you have obedience mentally, you'll have it emotionally in your relationships, right? You'll have it even sexually, so you'll have obedience in all these areas. You'll have it financially. So that's why it's so important to, really get into the practice of fasting and the practice of being obedient.
And
that's what it's
working
for.
Out.
Absolutely.
Get a routine that fits your lifestyle and stick to it, and be disciplined and stick to your routine. Break a sweat, get that heart rate up. And push out the bad stuff that's in your body, and then you get a nice natural energy flow when you work out, and you get rid of the stresses of the day, the normal stresses of the day when you work out and get some physical activity in that routine, along with choosing the right foods. When you have that physical work, when you work out, it improves your mental health, it improves your mental stability and longevity. The more you work out, the more flexible you become, and more aware of your body and your senses of your body, in your body. So get a routine that suits your lifestyle, so that way you can constantly work out and stay on top of your physical presence. Take care of your temple. You are meant to take care of your temple. That's where God resides. So you have to take care of it. And if you love yourself, you would take, if you really, really love yourself, you stop eating the foods that does you harm. You start paying attention to what creates mucus in your body, because everybody's body is different. You know, some people need meat, some people don't. You know, some people, the meat does something for different individuals. We have different blood types, O, AB,
RH negative. Right?
So when you eat according to your blood type
and understand who you are, right?
Understand who you are, and then you work out, you have a better systematic way to grow and maintain your physical health and also your mental health.
Absolutely. And practice portion control. Proverbs 30:88, give me just enough to satisfy my needs, right? Portion control. A lot of times what we'll do during the holidays, we will pile our plates up.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that. We'll pile our plates up with food, right? Because we can. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. Because, you know, it's a lot, you know, cardiovascular health. I see a lot. I remember I guess it was 2020, especially within my family. And then also I've heard from other people's families, a lot of people were struggling with cardiovascular health, especially when we had to be sat down because of COVID and all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
We were piling up on the food. We were sitting at home eating, you know.
And people forgot during that time frame, people forgot that you can just go outside and run. You know, you can go outside and run and jog. You know, the fact that they say stay in the house, that didn't make any sense to me.
Right.
So once you stay in the house and you just eat, you really gain weight.
You do.
And you hurt your back,
you hurt your body, your back. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a domino effect.
And then depression, because now you feel like, oh, I can't fit my clothes. You know, it's a domino effect. So
you definitely have to understand where you are mentally and understand where your body is. You know, you have to be able to make adjustments.
Absolutely. Yep, Sister Stephanie, for some people it's good, but for me and my family, we don't drink it, and it builds up mucus in the areas in our body, which causes inflammation.
Right.
When we're talking about the milk, and I noticed that, man, when I don't eat or drink anything with dairy in it, my skin is glowing, and I don't think that's a coincidence. You know, my skin glows.
Your body rejects things that doesn't belong, and as long as you stick to the foods that make you actually really feel good, in regards to the good stuff, you know, not sweets.
Yeah.
When we understand the science of sweets, sugar is worse than cocaine crack.
Really?
Yes, it is. It's worse because people are addicted to that.
Well, I think both, because it's like it's an addiction, right?
It's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
Sugar is an addiction.
Because I know people who say they have to have, right? And a lot of times we're feeding the parasites that are within our bodies.
There you go.
And the parasites
that's another
it's the
topic.
taste that we want, right?
Yep.
There's certain things, like even when we want cheese, you know, there's a certain, I mean, but we'll get into all that. So we're going to stick to the general, right? We want to stick to the plan today.
Just to kind of, you know, bring it back in and, you know, kind of, you know, circle back in when it comes to parasites. And when you get to a certain stage of your body and you feel your body getting to a certain point of being healthy, and you say, okay, listen, I want to eat this snack, or I want to eat this cookie. In the beginning, you're feeling good about it. You know, you worked out and, you know, you've been eating good throughout the week. Let's eat this cookie. Then you eat this cookie. It feels good going down. But after about 30 minutes, you're like, oh, why do I feel this way? I feel bad.
You know what? It's Girl Scout cookie season. And I'm not going to lie. Yesterday we had some caramel delights.
But the thing is, I didn't feel bad. When I say bad, I'm talking about like physically. You feel sick to the stomach.
No, I don't feel sick to the stomach. It was good.
But that's what I'm talking about. When we actually feel sick to the stomach, that food is not good for you no more.
Right.
But when you eat something and your body takes it in well, even if it is a sweet, if your body takes it in well, it's okay.
Yeah, and I think it's everything, like we said earlier, in moderation. And I believe that, you know, the part about gluttony again, right? When we overindulge, that's an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be content with what you have. Comparison, again, I think I mentioned before, is the Comparison is the thief of joy, right? Um, don't compare yourself. Don't compare your journey to anybody else's. I understand that somebody else you may see and be like, oh, I wonder how that person got there physically or mentally. That's okay to see, like, oh, well, that person looks like they have a lot going on for themselves in this area that I want to be in. So let me see what they're doing so that I can kind of, but comparing yourself and judging harshly, you want to avoid that. Be content with with what you have. Also could mean, we drive by so many fast food restaurants every day, right? And we don't cook at home as much. So cooking at home is way better than eating out, right? So sometimes in our refrigerators, we have so many fruits and vegetables that we're not eating at home and they just go bad. But because we didn't prepare, we didn't take the time to prepare our meals. Now we have to go out and eat, when we're at work or, things like that. So take the time to prepare and eat what you have at home, because home food is way better than outside food. Also, avoid unhelpful dietary rules. Stay away from trendy diets, right? When you're obedient to God and when you have God in the center, you don't have to go through a trendy diet, right? You know what your body needs. We need herbs, we need plants, we need fruits, we need vegetables, we need grains. It's no secret. It's really not a secret. This isn't like you got to go digging for this. You know what I mean? But these are things that our bodies need that we're not getting enough of, right? Because of a lack of obedience. So, let's take that into consideration. And also, we want to get into the habit of enjoying our meals, right? We want to add color to our plates, green peppers, red peppers, radishes, Brussels sprouts, we don't want just a plate full of starches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with that, again, how it affects you mentally, you may be like, hey, man, I don't want all this green stuff on my plate. Sometimes there's an album by Common, and the title of the album is Like Water for Chocolate, right? So that's a mental switch. Whereas water, if you think of water as chocolate, you're going to drink it more. So sometimes you got to kind of trick yourself mentally to eating certain foods, or even maybe dress it up a little better, without going overboard with the salt, or overboard with the sugar, or even the natural sugar. Absolutely. So you bring it back in. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, like water for chocolate, pretend it's chocolate morsels.
I can't do it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm looking at you and I hear you say pretend water is chocolate. Hey. No, water's water, right? Because water feeds us, it gives us life. I'm not like pretending
water
it's
for chocolate, and it's the body is 70% water, I think. Yeah. So if the body is 70% water, you got to drink more water than you eat food, and this is why it comes back to eating once a day. We hear Farrakhan and other folks and these use these intermittent fasting. When you eat once a day, what that does, it allows your body to rest, right? When your body is resting, you're able to make decisions. You allow your body to heal. Then when you're going into the night, and let's say you eat a late dinner, then on top of that, you ate 2 other meals throughout the day. Your body is up, spending time digesting and getting rid of that food that's in your body. It does it naturally. And what happens, it keeps you up. And then what also may happen, you may have some bad dreams. You may wake up having some bad dreams based on what you ate.
I notice people say they do have bad dreams when they eat like chocolate. I remember our kids saying that, like, I ate too late and I remember having a bad dream. And what you're talking about is like that intermittent fasting. It's so important to cut off that mealtime. And for me, what works, sometimes a 1 meal a day thing doesn't work because some people are breastfeeding, some people are pregnant, some people are busy. So it's important to have small meals sometimes. So if you're like, for breakfast, when we eat breakfast, we're breaking a fast, right? So the first thing we eat shouldn't be like tons and tons of biscuits and bacon and all that kind of stuff. It should be fruits, water, oatmeal, grains, things with fiber in it, right?
That allows your body to digest and be more electric, because your body is electric.
Absolutely.
And then throughout the day, when it's time to kind of bring it down some, eat vegetables, because vegetables, they ground you.
Absolutely.
So it allows you to ground, to recover, recoup, and then go into your rest period. Your body goes into
I didn't think about that. Vegetables ground you.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. So you go into another phase you go into another phase of your body, and it goes into circadian rhythm, basically. Everybody has a rhythm in their body, and once you are in tune with that rhythm of your body, you can eat better. You say, okay, I got to cut it off right here. I can't eat past this because I'll start acting crazy. My body do some crazy stuff on the inside.
Absolutely.
I can't go to sleep. So, and sometimes, and somebody told me, when you fall asleep like 9, 10 o'clock and you're hungry, that should, you shouldn't be eating. You should go to sleep or drink water, drink tea.
Oh yeah, tea.
So what happens, it calms that urge down, and you go right to sleep.
Absolutely.
And it allows your body to rest.
Absolutely.
And so the more rest, the more rest your body has, the more energy you have in order to be productive.
Absolutely.
So you take on that energy, and you use that energy to go throughout the day. Absolutely. And you use certain foods as energy boosters. So you have to think of it like that. And then, you're not supposed to eat herbs all the time. You only eat herbs when you're sick. And there's it's a certain
because I like to chop it up and put it in salads. And
I mean,
stuff like that.
I wouldn't
like
do
cilantro and parsley.
I wouldn't do it all the time, because certain herbs are meant for certain things.
Right.
Just like certain medicines. That's why people's bodies get sick when they eat certain medicines. Their body's not built for it. You gotta get blood tests. Know your body type. Know
thyself.
Know your blood type. And then if you're doing your ancestry, if your blood type leads to a certain region of the world and your ancestors ate certain foods, eat those foods. It's very simple. So once you learn yourself, and then you understand exercise and how it affects your body, how it improves your body, your exercise can be your coffee. You wake up in the morning, sprout up, you control your day, you have more control of your day.
And you're up.
Yeah. And then let's say you start to wind down. It may be a phase where you can take a 30-minute nap. That nap will boost you.
Absolutely.
And continue on and push out throughout your day.
I don't give them everything, because I said we're going to spread all this out in a week. Like, hold up, wait. All right, Dr. CB.
Hey, it's Monday, so it's time to get going again,
No, and we went to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yes,
I woke up and I was like, come on, let's go. Because I noticed during the lives that I was going to the gym later, but I wanted this to be my coffee. Like you said, I wanted the gym to wake me up. And one of the last things I have is, have boundaries. Set your boundaries, like we were talking about before. Cook at home, prepare, work out, and refrain from judgment. Don't judge yourself too harshly. Like I said, I just had some Girl Scout cookies yesterday with this man. Don't act like we ain't just had here. Like, okay.
Again, that was my first meal, though.
I haven't had it in a while. Sunday, I don't really fast. I give myself one of those times where I'm just like, oh, let me enjoy something, right?
Yeah,
that's on Sunday. I don't know why I do that. You have
to reward yourself from working out all week, hitting those goals and hitting those bench press. You did 225. Yeah, you better reward yourself.
Right. It's not such a habit plan, but I did. It's not a reward, right? Because our reward, we don't want it to contradict, but it was more of it's Sunday, and I do I'm not as strict. So, but Monday through Saturday, I do refrain from a lot of things. And that's just my lifestyle. I don't eat certain things Monday through Saturday. And then also start fresh. Just because you did something yesterday that you're like, oh man, I messed up. Because I used to have this habit where everything had to be perfection. If I messed up, then I can't do it again tomorrow. I gotta, I gotta take like another 6 weeks and be unhealthy again. No, start fresh tomorrow. This is a lifestyle. It's not perfection, but we want to create a lifestyle. It doesn't have to be, okay, you're not, great that day. You can be great tomorrow. You can wake up and do what you need to do tomorrow. It's okay. Tomorrow is going to be here. So don't worry about that. But again, our physical health, our gut health ties into our emotional wellness. And just going forward into this week, I challenge everybody to make some decisions, make a choice, right? A lot of us are struggling with depression. A lot of us are struggling with anxiety, right? And I'm not saying those things are not valid, right? I'm not saying it's not valid. I've had my own personal journey, but I would love for everybody to challenge let's challenge ourselves to make a choice, right? We have to make a choice to get better. Sometimes, depression can keep us in the house. It can keep us, it can keep us stagnant, right? But again, before I mentioned another episode, let's practice opposite action, right? You can't get up out the bed, or it's hard to, you're going to have to, either you want to or not, it's going to have to come to that. It's really just going to have to come to that. Do you want to get closer to God, or don't you? And sometimes getting closer to him is being obedient to his will, being healthy in our mind and being healthy in our body, right? There has to come a time where we can't waver. And like Brother Reverend Bankole said before, do you believe what you say you believe, right? We're walking around claiming to love God. Well, we have to show that. We have to love ourselves, and we have to prove that. Yeah. We have to look like it too. I'm not asking, I'm not saying perfection, but we have to create a habit of a healthy journey, right? We may mess up one day, but get back on that ride, get back on that horse.
Yep.
And, you can always start fresh. Keep God in the center of this healthy journey, right? Your center, right? Your mind, that gut health has a lot to do with your wise mind decisions, right? So if your gut, it has a lot of unnecessary parasites in it from a lot of unnecessary food, then you're going to be like, oh, do I have ADHD? Wait a minute. Do I have, bipolar disorder? Wait a minute. Do I have depression? No, your gut health is terrible. Not saying all of those things aren't real, right? ADHD is real. Bipolar disorder is real. But a lot of times when we get our gut health in order, everything else will fall into place, right? So let's get our core together. You want to pray us out?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
We had a lot more, but it's at 31 minutes, right? And we done cut off and came back on and all that. We're going to continue this conversation and throughout the week.
So to recap, your physical health does affect your mental health and vice versa. So just to sum it all up, get a routine mentally, get a routine physically, and stick to it.
Absolutely.
And I'll close out.
All right.
Right by your head. That's a Martin reference right there.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for another beautiful day. Thank you for coming on this live, for allowing us to come on to this live and share knowledge and information and wisdom to our people, to our community, to the community, to improve yourself, to do better and take on information and apply it. That's what we want our people to do. We want our people to apply the information that we put out there and watch it grow and continue and pass on this information. Bless those who are without, bless those who are in need, I pray.
In Jesus' name. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And we will be back tomorrow. May God keep you and bless you. And thank you for supporting. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you. Have a blessed one.